Teenagers fall victim to new system of recruitment into terrorism. Jackpot phenomenon among Nigerian youths on the rise as economic challenges persist. Post-harvest losses loom in Kano as traders worry over misuse of storage facility. And lastly, former Thai Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra released on patrol. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Updates. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for joining. Now the news in detail. The menace of kidnapping is taking a new dimension as terrorists have begun recruiting minors into the dastardly act. Only recently, two minors, Raju Ruga and Sandabube, were allegedly lured into kidnapping by two suspected kidnappers, Farouk Osman and Umaru Jemu. And this report, Yushau Adamu, exposes how the teenagers fall victim to the new system of recruitment into terrorism. The report.
Suraju and Umaru of Balio village in Binji local government area of Sokoto state were among the 15 suspected criminals paraded by the police in the state. Aged between 13 and 14, the minors were allegedly lured into kidnapping by Osman and Jemu respectively. According to Suraju, their presumed masters took them into a forest where 3 abducted persons were kept and asked them to keep eyes on them.
We are invited to the police command to identify those involved in kidnapping. Those 2 men met us while rearing cattle and carried us on motorbikes to a forest where 3 persons whom they had kidnapped were kept and asked us to keep an eye on them. After a while, the kidnappers returned from town and we left. Since then, we have never gone back to the place.
Teenagers were invited for the assignment after Usman and Jemu successfully abducted Haran Ekidadu, Buba Zaria and Dumana Gakweri. The 3 kidnapped victims were taken into a forest and tied up with rope before the youngsters were invited to guard them.
Those boys only mentioned my name as a kidnapper, but I have never kidnapped anybody in my life. My friend sitting beside me can confirm this. You can ask him. God knows I am not a kidnapper and I have never involved myself in kidnapping operation.
Police preliminary investigations revealed that the 3 abducted persons regained their freedom after paying 10 million naira each as ransom. However, 3 of the suspects confessed to having committed the offense, while the 4th one denied his involvement in the crime.
We are from the same village with the youngsters. They accused us of kidnapping and that is why we are here. They are alleging that we kidnapped 4 victims who paid 10 million naira each as ransom.
Sokoto State Police Commissioner Alikai Gama said the suspects will be arraigned as soon as the police complete their investigation. Yushau Adamu, Trust TV, Sokoto.
The governor of Kaduna State, Senator Obasani, has appealed for aggressive military operations against bandits across the state following bandit attacks in Igabi and Kowru local government areas, which left some citizens dead and others kidnapped. Governor Obasani, represented by Overseeing Commissioner, Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, at the Gwada and Kerawa villages in Igabi local government area during on-the-spot assessment of the security situation in the area, also sent his condolences to the families that lost loved ones in Igabi and Kowru. The Overseeing Commissioner was in a company of the Garrison Commander, 1 Division Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Muhammad Kana, alongside other military commanders and security forces working in the areas. He assured that the state government is not relenting in their efforts and is also working towards sustained aggressive military operations in the frontline locations and emerging fronts like Kowru local government area. The Oyo State Police Command has arrested 2 suspects who specializes in using human heads and other vital organs for ritual. They were arrested in possession of a human skull at Shaki town. The report.
It is the end of the road for these criminals who risk lengthy jail terms if found guilty for the crimes they are accused of. Oyo State Commissioner of Police Adebola Amzat, while addressing newsmen when he paraded the suspect, revealed that through intelligence they were able to apprehend the killer of a retired permanent secretary in Oyo State, Olaitan Gbenle. Gbenle was gruesomely murdered by the suspect at her apartment in the Apata area of Ibadan on the 10th of November 2023.
Retired permanent secretary who was brutally murdered in her apartment around Agbede Agbofiati community, Apata area of Ibadan, on 10th of November 2023. Just bringing closure to one of our intricate high-profile cases for 2023. The 2 vehicles and a generator stolen from her after being killed were recovered, while 5 suspects who jointly participated in the killing of the deceased were arrested by men of the command monitoring.
One of the suspects explained that they had killed the victim for fear that she could recognize them and report to the authorities.
We went there to go and rob her. So after we rob her, because he knows the person that took us there and the security has seen the person, that is why.
The person that took you there, how did the person get the information? Who is the person?
He's the person that you have spoke with for the first time because he stays around in that place.
Police also arrested 2 other suspects in possession of a human skull, which the police said was cut off from a freshly exhumed corpse at a cemetery in the Shaki area of Oyo State.
The person who did beside me is Abdullah, and I told him that I need dead body skulls, and he told me that I should not worry. And the next day, I just found the skull under one motor parked inside my compound. I'm not the one found itself. It is my landlord.
The police said they also arrested a group that allegedly attacked a pregnant woman and her husband while on their way to the hospital for delivery. Those arrested were accused of armed robbery, car theft, and diversion of vehicles laden with goods.
And still on crime matters, operators of the anti-vice unit, Imo State Police Command, conducted a successful rescue operations liberating 2 brothers from the clutches of dangerous cultists in Mbieri community in Imbaitoli local government area of the state. According to the command spokesperson, ASP Henry Okoye, the arrest of the suspect was part of the command's steadfast dedication to eliminating criminal activities within the state. Ajibade Praise has more on this report.
Recalling their harrowing experience, one of the rescued victims shared with Trust TV News that the community has been enduring terror at the hands of this said group. The 5-man cultist gang has been carrying out their dangerous activities unchecked, waylaying people and snatching their valuables on daily basis. Little did they know that they would become victims of this notorious group. Fortunately, one of them managed to escape the scene and promptly contacted the police, who swiftly swung into action and apprehended the perpetrators. What happened?
Because my brother's life was at stake, and I had to go and rescue my brother. And when I got there, I saw these men with my brother take my phone and demanded me to bring the amount of 200,000.
Narrating their involvement in the crime, the 4 arrested suspects confessed to be a member of Vikings confraternity. They said the guns were handed over to them by their leader, known as Slim or Tog, who is currently at large. One of the suspects sustained bullet wounds during gun duel with the police. The 2 locally made pistols were recovered alongside dangerous substances such as alcohol, hard drugs, stolen phones, among others.
Tog, number 1. So this gun here now is not mine. So I've never been in this kind of situation before. It's not mine. It's Tog stone for protection, for using it to protect Tog as number 1.
The gun was not mine.
But it was found on you.
Belongs to who?
Belongs to Slim.
Who?
Slim.
Is Slim here?
That is one of their syndicate who is at large.
The command spokesperson, ASP Henry Okoye, confirmed that the Commissioner of Police, Aboki Danjuma, has issued orders for all the suspects to face the full extent of the law.
Curtis, name Slim, is still at large, and efforts are on top gear to equally arrest him and make him face the full wrath of the law. We are equally intensifying efforts to make sure that we fish out the manufacturers of these locally made guns.
Undoubtedly, Imo State, like several other states in the country, is grappling with significant security challenges. Addressing these issues will require concerted efforts from all stakeholders. The command urges members of the public to come forward with any useful information that could facilitate the successful apprehension and dismantling of criminal elements operating within the states. Collaboration between law enforcement agencies and the community is essential in ensuring the safety and security of all residents. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
The National Emergency Management Agency on Saturday distributed relief materials to victims of recent attacks in Mangu local government area of Plateau. NEMA's Director General Muhammad Habib, while handing over the materials, said the agency would conduct an on-the-spot assessment of the communities when peace returns. Habib, who was represented by NEMA's North Central Zonal Director Bashir Garga, urged the people to embrace peace and shun violence. The DG said it was sad that the attacks kept recurring in the state, and he described Mangu as one of the most enterprising local government areas on the plateau. He said NEMA offered itself to the various state governments under the Disaster Risk Reduction Initiative to contribute by way of research and making sure people lived peacefully with one another. And following the economic crisis rocking the nation, young Nigerians are intensifying efforts to relocate to other countries, especially Europe and America, as a way of escaping the country's rising unemployment and poverty. Data gathered by Trust TV reveal that majority of the migrants are from the country's south, southwest and north central. Usman Bello Balarabi now reports.
In search of a better life, young Nigerians are migrating to Europe and America to escape the country's economic hurdles that are driving unemployment and poverty. As at April 2023, the number of Nigerians living outside the country had almost tripled from over 447,000 to 1.6 million between 1990 and June 2020, according to the Migration Control Info. The data shows majority of Nigerians in diaspora come from the country's south-south, north-central and southwest geopolitical zones. However, Trust TV uncovered that unlike the rush to Europe and America, many low-income and middle-income families from the northern region are making their way to the Middle East and North Africa for better life opportunities.
I graduated almost 5 years now, but don't have any government job. That alone is enough reason to push one to migrate for greener pasture, because even to start business, you need capital. So in my calculation, if you travel to Kuwait and stay there for 2 years, the wealth you will get in that 2 years alone, believe me, even if you retired as a civil servant, you will never get that money. So it is better for you to get that money, invest, and even provide a job for others.
Faced with unemployment and difficult living conditions, Hassan Abdusalam, a Tolo, found his way into Algeria in 2021. He returned home a year later and now has his eyes on Qatar or Kuwait.
I got everything I went there for in Algeria. I made fortunes, I built a house, and I did a lot of things. The rest will remain personal, but I made fortunes and I didn't face any challenge in my quest for wealth. Now I am preparing to go back there or travel out to another country like Kuwait or Qatar, because I have friends there in Qatar.
Hassan's story is similar to that of Abdul Wahid, who for almost 2 decades mastered the art of traditional embroidery of royal attires. He plans to explore his talent in Qatar, where he eventually migrates.
I have finished all preparations. I am just waiting for my visa to travel out anytime soon. I have made part payment as deposit, and I will complete the remaining when I started working there, because they will be withdrawing some percentage from my salary.
But while many from the north look to the Middle East for better opportunities, Sources in Qatar say it is not all that rosy, as the country's job market has seen a nosedive after the 2022 FIFA World Cup.
I swear, many people here are stranded without jobs. In the last 3 days, over 70 Nigerians, including 4 of my siblings, have left Qatar to return home because they were stranded. They applied for exit to be deported back to their country at no cost. In Qatar, they prefer people from other countries, not Nigeria. If you are from any other African country, you will easily get a job.
Despite these challenges, many young people are still willing to take the risk. For many of the young men planning to migrate, the chain is only made possible through the expertise and connections of agents like Ali Ibrahim, who help process and facilitate the migration dream. Ibrahim explains that the rush to the Middle East has not dropped.
We have processed the migration of at least 30 people to many countries. For some, we process their migration to Dubai, and they're currently in cargo-related businesses and other company works in Dubai. Most of the people I processed their migration to Dubai, I only processed their visa and ticket. I am not the one securing the jobs for them. It is when they go there that they will search for job opportunities themselves, because most of them.
For the Nigerian Immigration Service, it has made it clear that the service is not against Nigerians who wish to migrate, as long as those leaving the country go through legal means. Usman Bello Balarabi, Trust TV, Abuja.
The federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Works, has announced that the Yanoworo to Lagos end of the 3rd mainland bridge in Lagos will be closed to motorists for 24 hours beginning from midnight on Sunday, February 18, 2024. A late Saturday statement by the Federal Controller of Works, Lagos, Olukorede Kesha, says traffic will resume on the axis of the bridge on Monday midnight. The statement, however, added that motorists coming out of the island and heading towards Yanoworo will have full access throughout the 24 hours closure. The temporary 24 hours closure of the Yanoworo Adeniji Adili bound traffic is to enable the ministry carry out effective repairs on an important section of the bridge. The statement further advised motorists to cooperate with the traffic management officials deployed to manage traffic and ensure hitch-free movement in order to minimize the discomfort during this repair period. You're watching the Trust TV News update. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at post-harvest losses looming in Kano as traders worry over misuse of storage facilities. Details of that story and more after the break. Stay with us. You're welcome back. You're still watching the news update. And before we continue, a recap of some of our main headlines. We told you earlier that teenagers fall victim to new system of recruitment into terrorism. And the Jagba phenomenon among Nigerian youths on the rise as economic challenges persist. Moving on to more stories. Amidst the backdrop of political turbulence, Rivers State, a cornerstone of Nigeria's economy and a vital oil-producing region, finds itself entrenched in uncertainty. The APC Caretaker Committee Chairman in the state, Tony Okocha, has sounded a warning bell, suggesting that without careful intervention, Rivers could be headed towards a perilous fate. Expressing his concern, Okocha highlighted the difficulties Rivers State faced under Governor Similayo Fubara's leadership since assuming office in May 2023.
Presenting a budget to a four-men assembly when you have 31, not that they are dead, not that they are under suspension. In the first place, 4 members of an assembly of 31 cannot also convene because the law is clear, it has to be 1/3. 1/3 of 31, is 10. So how do you convene 4 persons and you go there and say you have presented budget? It's like putting something on nothing. The president said, present the budget to an assembly. And so forth and so on. 8 points. Now what the governor is doing, he is cherry picking. And is boasting that he will disobey Mr. President. And I cannot be chairman of a political party that the president himself candidated upon to see a governor blatantly, brazenly boast that he would disobey Mr. President. And the issue again is, what is the difficulty in the governor? What difficulty does he find or does he have in presenting that same budget that he claimed to have presented to 4, in presenting to 27 assembly members? They are waiting for him. They have written him severally.
And as tomato harvest season begins in Kano State, one of the leading fresh tomatoes markets in the state, Kwanagafan Tomato Market, has begun receiving tomatoes for onward supply to other states. However, the lack of storage facilities such as cold rooms, among others, is threatening the market this year. In this special feature, Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that the existing structures within the market constructed by the federal government for storing fresh tomatoes have now been converted to rental apartments. His report.
It has been a tradition that whenever there is a bonfire harvest, the story is always that of jubilation and expectation on farmers. Tomato users, fund seekers, and those involved in the sales and supply of farm produce at Konargapan Tomato Market gathered here to enjoy as activities gear up in the markets. It is the season of tomatoes and activities are gradually picking up, as you can see, even though it has not started picking up the way we are expecting it. But this is the beginning of the season. In the next coming of days, weeks, you will see a lot of activities taking place here. This is one of the major markets we have, and a lot of people are coming in here every day to do business. Some 10 years ago, the federal government under the Federal Ministry of Agriculture's Department of Extension Services established a solar-powered cold room for vegetable preservation, especially for tomato and onion. But the structure was not put to effective use for decades. Well, we are hoping that this place that is turned to rooms for rent will one day be transferred to us, because if they give us this facility, I am telling you, we will put it to effective use, and it will in fact transform this market. So we are hoping that the authorities will come and in addition build roads for us, and then surmount major challenges that we are facing and transfer this facility to us. The place is now converted to rooms for rent under the Tomato Growers and Processors Association. According to traders in the market, for quite some time, they have been trying to see how the facility given to the union can be utilized for the purpose it was created. This and the lack of access of roads within the market, high cost of transportation, among other challenges, threaten tomato business this year.
We are not using it for anything unless that, there are some stores there. Some people used to come and lease the stores to warehouse their agro input there. Some shops there, some people will come and hide and put their own market item there and market it within during the season.
Some have turned some part of it to rooms.
To rooms, yeah. That is what we are always fighting for, because if we have those who can come and use it as a shop, that's what we prefer.
While activities continue to gather momentum in the market, tomato dealers and farmers are, however, hopeful that the federal government will transfer this facility to the market union for effective use. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Quite a disturbing issue there. But away from Nigeria, Thailand's convicted former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra has arrived at his mansion in capital Bangkok after being released on parole. The billionaire was freed from a police hospital where he had been serving a one-year jail sentence for corruption and abuse of power. Thaksin, who is 74, was detained as soon as he returned to Thailand last August from 15 years in self-imposed exile. He did not spend a single night in jail after complaining of health problems. Thaksin's original 8-year prison term was commuted to 1 year by Thailand's king just days after he returned from exile. The handling of the case has led to criticism from many Thais who say that the rich and powerful are often given privileged treatment. On Sunday, Thaksin was seen being driven away from the police hospital in the capital, where he had spent the last 6 months. Thai authority said Thaksin was eligible for parole due to his age and health issues. They did not say whether he was released under certain conditions, such as monitoring or travel curbs. And lastly, in sport, former South African international Theophilus Kumalo says he's confident Bafana Bafana will overcome the Super Eagles in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers in June this year. Kumalo stated that South Africa's performance at the just concluded 2023 African Cup of Nations gives the team a big hope in their quest to qualify for the World Cup. And both Nigeria and South Africa find themselves in Group C of the World Cup qualifiers alongside Rwanda, Lesotho, Zimbabwe and the Republic of Benin. While the Super Eagles started their campaign with draws against Lesotho and Zimbabwe, South Africa secured a win against Benin but suffered a defeat at the hands of Rwanda. And that brings us to the end of the news update at this hour. For more news, programming and documentary, please follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for joining and stay.